That's new. And this is also new. Some more great work by Venture Unknown Foundation and all the volunteers that have been coming out here putting in 3, 4, 5 weekends worth of time. This campsite specifically was always an eyesore coming in. It's always been beat. It's been mud holes. People have gotten stuck here. It's just been a very popular campsite, I think, because of kind of the bend in the river. It's kind of deeper on that side, but it looks great. Even when I was here a month ago in the Xterra, this was still just bare, and they've come in, put silt fences up, grassed it, put hay down, put no camping signs up so it can rehabilitate, and it's doing the area really good. It's a good story. Remember in the last video, had the Xterra backed in right here and I was fishing. We're probably 100 or more fish in that little spot about 3 weeks ago, and there's 0 now, so I'm not even gonna waste my time pulling down in there. But I'm imagining that everywhere I go today is gonna be like that, since it is the Monday after 4th of July. I'm sure this place was absolutely slammed this weekend, so I'm sure all the fish have been called out. But either way, I've got the pole. If I find a spot that's got fish in it, we will fish. Aside from that, we're just gonna ride and enjoy the forest roads. had good intentions. They've got it gated. Stopped here to filter some water. Instead of buying another one, I just keep a water filter on the bike. But as you've already seen in the video, I do have a new ride. And I figured now, since I'm stopped, before I finish out for the day, it'd be a good time to kind of explain what it is and why I got it. So let's get into it. A good assumption would be that most everyone that's watching my channel probably knows what this bike is or have seen this bike in the past. But assumptions get us nowhere, so I'll tell you about it. This is a 2022 KLR 650 Adventure. The Adventure comes with an upgraded dash. So you get the USB port there on the left, and you get the 12-volt port there on the right. You get the accessory bar that you see my phone mounted to, mounted to. You get the upgraded digital dash. The Gen 3s come with a fuel gauge inside of that digital dash. And then there on the right, you'll see a switch for the auxiliary lights up front. The Adventure also comes with hard panniers, factory from Kawasaki. So when those hard panniers are off, you've got rear crash bars. The Adventure package also comes with upper crash bars that the auxiliary lights are mounted to. So a little bit of stuff that's been added to this bike that's not factory. You've got a center stand, and you've got this super beefy skid plate that covers the entire bottom and the engine cases on both sides. Moving on to the lower crash bars that are hard mounted that work with the uppers. The bag there on this side was meant to be a fuel cell bag, but it's actually turning out to work pretty well as a bottle holder. I can flip my helmet up and drink while I'm on the move. The bag here on this side is a first aid kit, a fire kit, a water purifier, water filter rather, GMSR radio that I added this morning just to see how it was gonna ride, how I liked it. Tool tube at the bottom of the steering neck there that has got some basic tools in it that I believe I could probably dismantle and remantle the entire bike. Dismantle and reassemble the entire bike. It's got aftermarket bark buster handguards, and it's got a Pelican style top box that is hard mounted, so even if you take the panniers off, you've still got some storage for day trips. It also has had the Thermobob bypass done, and I do have a doohickey sitting in a box ready to go when the time comes. Got an aftermarket helmet holder here. It was on the back, it was in the way, I moved it to the front. I have used it. Also, it has a windscreen riser kit, 3D printed. Get that windscreen vertical and taller with space to move under, for wind to move under it. It also has a hardwired charger to the phone mount so that I can mount on the, or so that I can charge on the fly. 6.1 or 6.2 gallon tank. I have yet to see how many miles I can get out of it. Guys are reporting anywhere from 250 to 300 miles out of a tank of gas while loaded. However, I have read that with the new digital fuel gauge, when you get down to that lower bar, the very last one, it's said that you've got about 40 to 50 miles before you need to stop and get fuel. You don't really want to run it any lower than that. Since it is fuel injected, you'll burn up the fuel pump. It seems like around 250 miles is when people are stopping to get gas. So if I see 250 miles out of a tank, I'll be super stoked, because my Honda, I have to stop at 90 miles and get fuel. Future modifications, we'll see a set of soft bags to replace these hard panniers. I have a weird suspicion that if I were to go down, or when I do go down, because I will, that these bags will just blow apart and I'll be stranded with a bunch of gear that I won't be able to get home unless I stack up under that net. I'm gonna do bar risers to get these bars another 2 inches up, so when I'm standing up on the pegs, I can reach the handlebars well. I can do it now, and I have been doing it all day, but my Gen 2, I had bar risers on with Tusk high bars, and that worked out really well. I'm in the process of designing and printing a 3D Molly panel, or Molly, I believe it's Molly, to go on top of that Pelican box, where I will then mount 2 more of those fuel bags with fuel canisters. I believe they're 16-ounce fuel canisters, so I'll have 32 ounces of fuel on board. Not that I'm going to be running out of fuel anywhere, but they do make yellow caps that will pop over these auxiliary lights, so I believe I'm going to get me some yellow caps, turn these auxiliaries into more of a fog light type deal. It was foggy when I left this morning. It would have been nice to have something that would have cut through the fog a little better, but I like the idea of being able to pop them off for riding at night. The headlight on this bike paired with the auxiliary lights work much better than the Gen 2 and the Gen 1 halogen lights. I do have some shorter some tire spoons that have been cut down to go into that tool tube, and I believe I'm going to get another one of those tool tubes and mount on the left hand side here to match the exhaust that will carry tubes and maybe a small air compressor, so that I can change flats on the move. All right, so there is the introduction to my newest motorcycle. There's a couple items on there that usually won't be on there. Like next week when I go to do the trip, the fishing pole and the tackle bag, that kind of stuff won't be on there. I just threw those on there today because I was planning to fish. There's a lot of mixed reviews and comments and ideas on the KLR. I'm biased. I had an 08, a Gen 2 that had 65,000 miles on it that I put on before the engine blew. The engine blowing was all a fault of my own. That bike, I actually busted the engine case and I JB welded the whole back together, so it constantly leaked oil, and it got to a point where I was riding and didn't have enough oil in it, and it blew the cam guides and all that apart. So that bike, however, is still on the road. Actually, the guy that I bought this bike from bought that bike from me and bought a donor bike, put the donor motor in my 08, and it's still on the road to this day. I will actually be riding with that guy next weekend. I don't know how much content is going to come with this because it's not quite as convenient to stop and set up for shots and all that kind of thing as it is when I'm in the Xterra or when I was on the boat or whatever. But I'm gonna try, and currently I'm still using a GoPro Hero 8, which, by the way, I hate GoPro at this point. I've owned every generation of GoPro up to the Hero 8, and I will never own another one after the Hero 8. I will be going to DJI or Insta360, hopefully sometime in the near future, so that will help make content a little easier, specifically regarding the bike. Okay, well, we're pretty much out of Rich Mountain WMA at this point, and it'll be highway riding after that, back to Jasper. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You got to see a little bit of riding, got to learn a little bit about the new motorcycle, but I will catch you guys on the next one.